Ever wondered why your e-bike might not last as long as it should, even if you barely ride it? And if you're new to e-bikes, over 50, or just getting back on after a few years, there are a handful of mistakes we see all the time. These aren't small slip-ups. They're the fastest ways to drain your battery, wear out your motor, or make your rides uncomfortable. But the good news is, every single one is actually easy to fix once you know what to watch for. After testing and riding dozens of e-bikes, we've seen exactly what wears them out the fastest and how to avoid it. So if you want your bike to stay smooth, reliable, and fun for years, let's dive into the 5 biggest mistakes riders make. If you're thinking of your e-bike's battery like a phone battery, then you're making a big mistake. It's actually the most expensive part of your bike. And for anyone who wants long, stress-free rides, taking care of it really matters. Yet so many riders don't realize this and end up wearing it out faster than they should. And that's why the first mistake riders often make is charging their battery all the way to 100% every night and then letting it drop to 0. If you're used to old gadgets, that might feel normal, but lithium-ion batteries don't work that way. Leaving them completely full or totally empty for long stretches makes them wear out much faster. For riders over 50 who want a dependable ride with solid range, this is a big deal. And batteries lose 20 to 30% of their range in just a year because of this. The fix is simple. Try to keep your daily charge between 20 and 85% and only top it off to 100 if you really need the full range the next day. If you're storing your bike for a while, say during winter, keep the battery around 50 to 60% and never charge it in freezing temps. Bringing your e-bike indoors can extend battery life by years, and it doesn't cost a thing. Another mistake we see a lot is riding the e-bike like it's a motorcycle. The throttle can feel really fun at first, especially on fat tire models that feel super stable and powerful. But this is something we notice all the time with new riders, and especially riders over 50 who are getting used to pedal assist. So the second mistake is using the throttle only on big hills, or when starting from a complete stop. Why is this a problem? Well, the motor and controller end up working way harder than they should, and on long climbs they can overheat. Some bikes will even shut down to protect themselves, and others can just fry the electronics. And there's nothing that kills confidence faster than your e-bike cutting out halfway up a hill. The fix is simple. You have to start pedaling before you touch the throttle, shift to a lower gear before climbing, and use pedal assist instead of relying on the throttle alone. This keeps the motor safe and gives a smoother, more stable ride every time. Mistake number 3 is ignoring the brakes until something actually feels off. The thing is, a lot of riders don't realize that e-bikes are heavier and faster than regular bikes, which means the brakes have to work much harder. For anyone over 50 or just getting comfortable on an e-bike, strong, predictable braking is a must. The mistake we see all the time is not checking brake pads or caliper alignment. Brake pads can wear out faster than you'd think sometimes in just a few hundred miles, especially if you ride hills or carry extra weight. And if the caliper shifts even a little, which happens all the time, you'll hear rubbing, your range drops, and braking doesn't feel smooth. The fix is simple and only takes a minute. Loosen the 2 bolts holding the caliper, squeeze and hold the brake lever, then tighten the bolts while holding it. Spin the wheel. If it rubs, nudge the caliper slightly, and that's it. No special tools needed. Your brakes will feel firmer, quieter, and much more predictable, which is exactly what we want for a smooth, stable ride. Another common mistake is riding with the wrong tire pressure. Tire pressure actually affects everything: comfort, stability, traction, and even range. This is something we hear about all the time from new e-bike owners. Mistake number 4 is running tires that are either way too low or way too high. If the pressure is too low, the bike feels heavy, you lose a lot of range, the rims are at risk, and steering becomes harder. Too high, and the ride gets harsh. There's less grip, and punctures become more likely, especially something older riders really want to avoid. For riders over 50 who care about comfort and control, keeping the right tire pressure makes a huge difference. And if you're over 50, you might be thinking, I just want to ride, not become a mechanic. And the good news is, you don't need to actually. But there's one mistake you do need to avoid. So the number 5 mistake is assuming the e-bike is fine just because nothing feels wrong. Even if we aren't riding every week, parts can loosen, dry out, or slowly drift out of alignment, especially on heavier bikes. The simplest routine we recommend is easy to follow. Every 2 weeks, pump the tires, check the brake levers, give the chain a quick lube, and make sure all bolts on the handlebars, stem, and wheels feel snug. Then, every couple of months, wipe down the chain and re-lube it. Check spoke tension using the pluck test. Loose spokes sound dull, and inspect the brake pads. And finally, every 6 to 12 months, get a professional tune-up. Spending $60 to $120 is absolutely worth it. This routine keeps the bike stable, smooth, and safe. And it's especially important for riders who value confidence and predictability every time they hit the road. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more updates on e-bikes. Stay safe and avoid these common mistakes that can quietly ruin your e-bike ride.